Hey guys, this is John Rivera from the Solid State Gamer, bringing you guys another installment in our Quick Look series. We're going to be looking at a very interesting game, and it's for the Sega 32X. Now, I know you guys have probably noticed that I've been on a PlayStation kick lately. Sorry about that. It has nothing to do with my fondness for the system. It just has everything to do with the fact that I'm not really crazy about, switching out systems for other systems and stuff like that. It's tough to do. But anyway, we're taking a look at a game called Shadow Squadron, and this is a really awesome game. So here we have some demonstration footage, and the replays are actually pretty well done. In fact, as you can tell, it's a 3D polygonal game. And this is a game that came out in 1995. It was released in North America, and it was also released in Europe and Japan. It's developed and published by Sega for the system. And in Japan and Europe, it's known as Stellar Assault. I have no idea why it was renamed Shadow Squadron for the North American release, but the change in the name does not impact the quality of the experience. So anyway, let's get into this, that way I can show you how this game works. Alright, so here we have the option menu. Difficulty, we're going to leave it on hard. Speed control, this has to do with the buttons that toggle your boost and your retros to slow your spacecraft up. We have BG music. We're going to leave that on because the soundtrack is awesome. Sound effects, we're going to leave that on. Cursor speed, that has to do with the second player mode. You can play as two players cooperatively, controlling one spacecraft. The first player maneuvers the craft, and the second player, what he or she does is moves the cursor on the screen that pretty much aims where your blasters are going to go. Key arrangement or assignment, we're not going to mess with that because the default control scheme is actually pretty intuitive. Color change mode, this is actually an interesting feature. This is another fascinating area of customization, at least in my opinion. You can actually change the color of all the polygonal objects, the crafts in the game. This right here that's changing color right now is the enemy spacecrafts. I'm just going to leave those on green, and I'm going to choose Feather 1, and I prefer red. It's my favorite color, so we're going to go with that. Change you back to red. Sound test. If you check this out, this is a nice little arrangement. I like the interface for the sound test screen. And you can select your music and stuff. I like how it's got the little volume bars that dynamically adjust for, the volume of the music and stuff. This is just a little soundboard thing. So this is an object viewer. Pretty interesting. You get to rotate all the polygonal entities and check them out for all they're worth. For the time, these graphics were actually pretty good. These are pretty much on par with Star Fox in terms of the standard of quality. And forgive me in advance, but I'll be drawing some parallels with this game and Star Fox because they try to do similar things in certain areas. So anyway, that's the object viewer. Without further ado, let's start this game. Now here's Feather 1 and Feather 2. These are your only selectable aircrafts or spacecrafts from the outset. Interesting thing with this craft is that you can select either autopilot or manual. And autopilot, pretty much the computer controls the craft, and what you're able to control is the direction in which you fire your lasers. And you see, as it's shown on the craft, the gun is like a mounted turret, and you can adjust, you can rotate where it shoots, so that's very useful. But I'm choosing this one right here. So far it looks very impressive, at least for the time. I mean, obviously technology's come a long way, but in mid-1995 this was pretty decent for 3D graphics, at least from a console perspective. Nice little effect with the shaking of the camera. Kind of reminds me of like Metroid Prime, when you have like the visor interface, the helmet HUD, and it kind of jostles whenever you move around. It's kind of that same effect. Another cool thing about this game is that you have a mission briefing. So this game is kind of non-linear in how you can approach the missions. It's not linear like a rail shooter like Star Fox was. You have full freedom. You have like 360-degree freedom of your movement. You can rotate your craft and, you know, adjust the pitch left, right, up, and down. But in terms of the mission structure, it is very linear. It's not like you can pick and choose which mission you go to. It follows a linear path in that regard. Good luck. And here we have the core gameplay. So basically the object of this game is to take down enemy fighters and enemy cruisers. And enemy cruisers, the way you defeat them is that you destroy, I guess, appendages or hard points on the actual cruiser craft. And depending on which ones you take out and how critical they are to the operation of the vessel, strategically you can take these things down with ease as long as you know what you're doing. It takes a while to figure out where these critical hard points are and how to tackle them. And of course, all the while, the ship is throwing torpedoes at you. And like I said, this is all in full 360-degree 3D. And as you can see, the game runs really well. It runs at a steady frame rate. It's actually really impressive. Here we have some enemy fighters. It can actually be really difficult to target these smaller fighters. There we go, we took out one right there. Now, coming from someone who's played a lot of 3D spaceflight combat sims, like Wing Commander, Privateer, and stuff like that, Free Space, and even the Lancer series, the Freelancer and Star Lancer games, this game controls very well, and it plays extremely well. It's extremely difficult, but it's difficult by design and not to a fault. At least from what I've personally experienced thus far. This, if you guys remember, this is a game that I picked up on the interwebs. I actually featured it on one of my weekly mailbag videos, if you guys have been keeping up with that. It's the second to last one, canonically speaking. And I bought this game on a whim for like $5, and I didn't really think that much of it. And mostly because my first impression of the Sega 32X was not a good one. The first two games that I played for the longest time for the 32X were Doom and Cosmic Carnage. And Doom for the 32X is not a good port. It's a very, very bad port of Doom. There we go. There's one fighter down. There's another one down. Yeah, my first impressions of the Sega 32X were just not great. I never bought it when it was commercially relevant, and granted, that wasn't a long time. But 3 years after that, when I had since moved from Sega's Genesis over to the Saturn, and also we got a PlayStation in the house too, I decided to buy a heavily discounted 32X. I think I spent like $15 on it, and I got it at Funko, if you guys remember that. Funko Land. If you guys remember that far back. Gosh, I'm getting old. But I got it for 15 bucks, and then for $5 each, I got Cosmic Carnage and Doom, and that experience just left a bad taste in my mouth, and I just neglected my 32X all this time. And I had no idea that this game even existed. You know, so I did some research online and I found the game and looked up some gameplay videos of it. That's usually how I discern whether or not a game is going to be worth my time. I try not to look at reviews because, I mean, I would like to review the game itself for website, you know, for the Solid State Gamer, and so I try to keep an open mind when looking at games. But I thought I was taking a risk buying this game. I thought, like, oh, it's just going to be another 32X game that's not terribly great. And boy, was I wrong. Because, like, not only is this a damn good game for the 32X, but it's actually a damn good 3D space flight combat sim. If you guys haven't noticed that the music is pretty well done. In fact, 3 composers worked on this soundtrack, and holy crap does it show. Hopefully we get to the 4th stage so I can let you guys listen to the stage music of that mission, because it kind of embodies the overall motif of the game. It's just, the soundtrack is incredible because it has elements of jazz in there, it has elements of pop, it also has elements of orchestral themes and stuff. It's just, the way it comes together is pretty incredible. I mean, this game looks pretty good for the time. I mean, you see like all the particles coming off whenever something explodes. And the gameplay is just really satisfying. Like when you blow something up, you feel like you really blew something up. It's a joy to play. And there's always something going on. The screen is always full of activity. Unless you're trying to, like, run away from somebody. Well, you listen to the track right there, the tempo kind of just, the time signature changed on part of the song. Soundtrack makes a lot of interesting, risky, but yet bold moves, and it really succeeds in those areas. Now, one might complain that these flat shaded polygons have no textures or anything like that, but I really don't mind because the game plays so well. I mean, it plays at a steady frame rate. Only when there's a lot of action on the screen will you see the frame rate drop. And just look at that. I mean, that's just so satisfying to watch. So I'm going to increase my boost. Like, double tapping on the boost button makes you, like, boost insanely quickly. There's sort of a concussion shield that you can engage by pressing C, and I haven't really seen much of a use for that unless you plan to do like a kamikaze attack. I'm not going to actually perform that because it takes a lot of health away from your shields, but basically it inflicts insane amounts of damage on cruisers. But then again, like I mentioned, it is hazardous to your shields, so it's not really recommended unless it's like a last-ditch effort. But it is cool to see on replays. Just look at this. This is it's kind of like a little boss battle thing. But it's just, look at the scope of this game. It's actually pretty impressive for a 32X game. It's impressive for a game that's a part of the 5th generation of consoles. This might take a while, by the way. So I apologize in advance. I'm trying not to take up too much time, but I would like to get to the 4th stage so that way you guys can see just how big the mission areas can get. It's just a cluster of battle cruisers you got to take out, and it feels like a huge expanse of space that you can traverse. So there's kind of just, there is this element of freedom in the game. It's really impressive. I mean, this game just blew me away. It's getting a little hairy right now. Use my boost to evade those things. You know, during the later missions, these things get more relentless, and they also can lock on in later stages, so it gets a little tricky in the later missions. Oh, jeez. And they take away a lot of your shield. So it's imperative not to get hit by those things, obviously. Oh, goodness gracious. This might be it, folks. Oh, maybe not. Oh, sweet. This game is not easy. Nice. Whoa, that was close. Nice, nice. So apparently there's a sequel for this game for the Saturn. It's called Stellar Assault something. I'm not sure what the, I don't remember what the subtitle is. But it pretty much takes what made this game great and just cranks it up to 11 apparently. And it's just, unfortunately, it only came out in Japan as far as I know. And it had a very limited run too, so the game is extremely rare. Mission complete. Thank goodness. I thought I was gonna bite it. I like this little victory jingle, and like you attach yourself to the you know, the depot vessel, and you resupply your shield and your energy and stuff. It's just a nice little break between levels. It's like collecting the orb in like Castlevania games, except it's useful and not redundant. And I love this effect right here with the stars stretching out. Good luck. Try to boost up to get this this stationary ship right here. I try not to use boost too much because it does drain your energy, and energy is used for boosting and firing new retros, and it's also used for doing your charge shot, as well as your shield. So it's something that you have to really be careful about, you know, not exhausting early on in the level. Because if you have no energy to dodge things like these torpedoes, it can get hairy very easily, very quick. And I already just took a shot from one of those things. It's not really recommended to shoot at the main body of the vessel because it just does very little damage. You want to attack something like a wing or part of the exhaust. Goodness gracious, I'm getting pelted. This is not good. Not looking good, folks. Definitely not looking good because I just collided with that vessel. This could be it, folks. Actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna die anyway, so let me try to show the kamikaze attack. Yeah. But basically, you do insane amounts of damage. Of course, I died, and this is the continue screen. One more time. Seen some videos of this game being played on YouTube, and I noticed quite a few people complaining that when you die, you go all the way back to the beginning of the mission. But, I mean, come on, there should be some punishment for losing, right? I never understood that when someone complains like, oh, I have to go all the way back? Well, yeah, you died. And that's your punishment for dying. You know, don't die. Kind of irks me how a lot of gamers nowadays are just so accustomed to having victory just handed to them on a plate. I mean, whatever happened to making games that were just really challenging and difficult and were made very satisfying because of it? You know, you complete a game that's immensely difficult and you get the end and stuff, you feel satisfied because you just accomplished something. I love this music. Just listen to it. It's just awesome. Just shooting stuff in this game and just how it explodes and stuff, it's like I said, it's just satisfying. There goes that cruiser. Excellent. To get close to the action. Sometimes the best solution to avoid the torpedoes is just to always advance, you know, like Patton always said, always attack. It's just surprising how incredible this game runs. You think about other entries in this genre on consoles, stuff like Cybermorph, Star Fox. As much as I love Star Fox, the game does not run so well, and it's not even a spaceflight combat sim. I mean, it's more akin to a rail shooter, a glorified one. I mean, a great one at that, but it did not run that smooth. I mean, as soon as you had like a few enemies on screen with some buildings and stuff, I mean, the frame rate would just take a dive. And you just look at this, like all this stuff that's exploding and the particles that are flying and the little polygons flying everywhere. It scales very well. You have all these asteroids that are kind of peppered about the environment. It's just a great looking game. And, you know, the heads-up display elements are just so intuitive and helpful. You have like that little one that says target and it points you in the general direction of it. You have the energy and shield bars represented by the red and blue bars respectively. You have this little radar map that shows where all the enemies are, and that plus the compass that is immediately to the left of it, they're both actual 3D objects. They render all those little dots and stuff in 3D. They're vectorized, so that way it's not like, I guess they did that intentionally to not create such a performance hit on the hardware. And then to the left of the entire console you have your boost meter. It's just showing how much throttle you have. There's another fighter. It's really taking all the restraint that I have in my body not to not to like hum along to the music. Where'd that come from? There we go. Boom. Use my boost to catch up to him. Go. There you are. I will have to say that this also plays a world of difference better than Wing Commander on the Super Nintendo. That was another, it's not so great of a game. I mean, I love Wing Commander, but playing that on Super Nintendo is just garbage. The game just doesn't scale at all. There you go. Mission complete. Oh, there you are. Gosh, this thing is spazzing out. There we go. I mean, just the overall presentation of this game is just very well done. Like, any way you look at this game, it's just it's a well-designed game, and it's just got a lot of polish to it. I've yet to run into an issue that has to do with technical flaws or anything like that. I mean, it is a product of its time, so it does have some issues, but compared to the standards of the time, this game really has no problems, and honestly, I've never thought to myself, oh, I have to put my mindset into the year of 1995 in order to enjoy this game. That thought has never really crossed my mind, and I've only started playing this game earlier today. And the fact that I'm still playing it and I cannot put it down, I mean, that's kind of a testament to how awesome this game is. So as you can see right here, this is a huge group of cruisers that I have to take out in one run. So this is going to be quite a challenge. I'm probably not going to finish this mission because we are running a bit long, which I apologize for. But I just want you guys to kind of let all the visuals kind of sink in, and the gameplay and the music. The music is just, this is actually my favorite track so far. There we go. Sweet. I'm actually making pretty good progress right now. So you can see right there, like, it dynamically tells me where my target is, which is really useful. It helps you from getting lost. So that way you don't just have to refer to, like, the little radar screen. You can rely on that little ticker, that little reticle to show you where you need to go. It's just, I mean, it's just a well-designed game, honestly. It's also a very tough game. Incoming fighters. I honestly feel like had I known that this game existed, I would have given a little more love to the Sega 32X. Actually, you know, Mr. Off-White, co-host of the ROMcast, him and I were at my place earlier today, just kind of going over what we're going to do for the next podcast for the roundtable discussion, and kind of just planning out the next, few weeks in terms of content. And I was playing this game and kind of caught his eye, and I was playing this exact mission right here, and I looked over to Matt. I was just like, dude, listen to this music. It's phenomenal. And he's like, yeah, the game plays pretty well for something of 1995, And we actually played, we traded off one-player mode, and then we did the two-player cooperative mode. And I think we had gotten game over like twice, but with each playthrough, we had made a lot of progress, and we actually had a great system down where, like, he would pilot the craft, and I would, aim the turret gun and fire it, and we had a hell of a lot of fun doing it. And part of the reason is because the controls are just so well, you know, they're well conceived, they're well thought out. It just feels natural. I never once felt like, man, if only these buttons were placed differently, you know, just mapped out differently, that would change a lot. I've never really run into that issue with this game. And like I said, we had a blast playing this game. And I looked at Matt and I said, dude, I think I might have to retract everything I've ever said bad about the Sega 32X. Because this game alone made me kind of reevaluate the system. I mean, of course, the system is, you know, not terribly great, but as a, you know, just as a piece of hardware from the outset. But the fact that this game only exists on the 32X, I mean, had I known this game existed, I probably would have bought a 32X just for this game. That's how much fun I'm having with it. That was raw. Oh gosh. One more time. If I die, that's all, folks. Actually, you know what? On this last run, let me do the kamikaze attack so you guys can get a little look at that. Because I saw that on replay videos, and I was like, what? What is it? That? Huh? Crazy. Alright, here we go. As you can see, I just took out that entire cruiser. But also, as you can observe on my HUD, I'm almost dead. So I'm going to do that again. And we're just going to close this quick look out. Here we go. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. Ugh. And dead. No, I'm not going to press start to continue because I'm going to end this. Game over. That, guys, was a quick look at a very cool game for the Sega 32X, Shadow Squadron. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate it when you guys check out my stuff. And be sure to check out our other videos on the Solid State Gamer YouTube channel. And don't hate, please rate, subscribe if you guys like what we're doing with this stuff, the games that we're covering. Because in the end, it's not really about like attention on us. We're trying to give attention to games that might have been forgotten or games that might be flawed but interesting at the same time. And we just want to share our love for gaming with everybody. So I'm going to play the Stage 4 music, otherwise known as BGM 08. And definitely, if you guys... Actually, I want to reach out to anybody out there on the internet who has had this game when the platform of the 32X was actually commercially relevant. And if you guys have nostalgia for this game, be sure to drop me a line. Drop us a line at the Solid State Gamer. Visit us at thesolidstategamer.wordpress.com. And our email address is solidstateromcast@gmail.com. And I would just like to hear you guys, your all stories about, you know, playing this game when it first came out, or when the console was still commercially relevant, and how the game, you know, just affected you, how you guys enjoyed the game, and your personal feelings on it, if you guys have any nostalgia for it. Because sadly enough, I don't have any nostalgia for this game. I never experienced it until now, until 2015. It's crazy. And again, like, I feel a bit ashamed that I had no idea that this gem of a game existed. So be sure to drop us a line, solidstateromcast@gmail.com, and also be sure to check out our other videos, as well as our podcast that we do weekly, the Solid State Romcast, and some of the reviews that we put up on the site. We kind of pride ourselves on doing reviews of games that maybe have not gotten the proper attention that they needed, or any attention at all, and we just want to be a source of information on games like that may be a little bit on the obscure side. I mean, we want to cover the popular stuff too, but we want to give some extra attention to, or coverage for, releases like this that might not have had a lot of attention thrown at them, whether good or bad, and we want to rectify that, and we want to make sure that gamers are aware of all of their options, you know? Like, for example, this game right here. You can pick this game up on the internet for $5. That's right, this game. It's incredible that this game is not rare or something like that, or a sought-after gem, because I feel like it should be. It absolutely deserves it. I mean, just listen to this music right here. It's incredible. Anyway, with all that, I'm John Rivera from the Solid State Gamer signing off, saying thank you guys for watching this installment of the Quick Look series, and as always, see you next time.